You are listening to the Empowering Working Moms podcast, Real Talk with Dr. Prianca Naik, a show to help professional moms in survival mode to take hold of their lives and thrive. If you're ready to take powerful action to create your best life, then this is the show for you. I'm your host, Dr. Prianca Naik, board-certified internal medicine physician and certified life coach. Now let's get to it and dive in. You are listening to the Empowering Working Moms podcast, episode number 33. Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in today. It is the holiday time, winter. I can't believe it. I don't know why I sound so cheery because I don't like winter, but I do like talking to you. So I guess that's why. So hello. Thanks for being here. Before we dive in, I do want to let you know that enrollment is open for my one-on-one coaching program. I work with professional moms who are mentally exhausted in survival mode, who want to enjoy the lives that they work so hard to build. I have 4 spots in the month of December, so book in a call, Prianca Naik, mdcoaching.as.me, and apply to work with me. I would love to talk to you. The link is in the show notes. Today, I want to talk to you about a topic that became very clear to me in the beginning of my coaching journey and also comes up a lot for my clients. The idea of people pleasing, but to the max, to the point where we really start living our lives for others and we don't even know what we really want. And I think that, on some level, that's kind of horrifying. But the beauty is that we're talking about it today, so there is something you can do about it. We start out people pleasing at a young age, as you probably know. We want to please and appease our parents and gain the approval of our teachers. This is good and well, of course. It's important in shaping us. However, this external approval and validation, the programming with which we grow up, runs so deep that what we want often just lurks in the shadows. It dies in the shadows. And really what we want becomes what other people want, to the point where whatever we want, it disappeared. Fast forward 35 years or so, and then find yourself not enjoying this life, even though you've busted your ass to succeed and do all the right things. You've checked all the right boxes and you're looking at your life wondering, what did I do wrong, right? Because you didn't do anything wrong. You feel you did everything right, probably. Have you ever asked yourself what you want in your life? What kind of a job? What kind of a partnership? What kind of friends? Or are you simply living life the way you thought life was supposed to be, or the way you saw life was supposed to be? What was the norm for your parents and aunts and uncles, maybe? If you're a physician, did you want to become a physician, or did you do so to please your parents? In Indian culture, this is probably no surprise to hear. Being a doctor is often pushed as a prestigious and proper profession, like the ultimate. I actually, when I was a child, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I was into fashion. I would sometimes draw outfits in my notebook, very not well, but that was a hobby and interest of mine. But I never even considered it as a career because it wasn't stable. And, that was taught to me to get a stable job, which makes sense. That's good teaching and good preparation. But I also was concerned that I would not seem smart amongst my family and parents' friends. I wanted to prove myself. I also, in college, considered becoming a therapist, but that felt like it wasn't prestigious enough. And no knocking of therapists, believe me. I think it's a very respectful profession. But having come from a family of doctors, it just felt like I had to be a doctor, and doing something else just wouldn't have been good enough. Even though my parents told me not to become a doctor, they told me to get my MBA because I guess they thought that that would be a path to success. But of course, eventually becoming a doctor ended up being a dream of mine. And even though my parents told me not to do it, I believed it was a noble, stable profession. I could help people, make a positive impact, and I would finally feel worthy, and people would know I was intelligent. And I've mentioned this before, but I went to WashU in St. Louis for undergrad, and that's not an Ivy League school. And there were many of my parents' colleagues' friends whose kids did go to Ivy League schools. So it was embarrassing when my parents had to tell people that I went to WashU in St. Louis, and half of them hadn't heard of it. They didn't know where it was. They were confused. They thought it was in Washington, D.C. or Washington State. But finally, when I got into medical school, I felt like not only did I belong, but on some level, my parents did too. So, besides helping people, right, my decision to become a physician had a lot of external factors in it, which is kind of crazy to think about now because I didn't realize all that. It was what I wanted based on how I had been programmed. But the pure me, the child me, before her programming, she wanted to be a fashion designer. Kind of interesting, right, to think about. So, take a second to reflect on your own programming. What did your parents want you to be when you grew up? What were their expectations of you? Who did they encourage you to marry? Did you listen to any of this? I would actually take time to write some of this down because I think it's fascinating to look at these thoughts and ideas on a sheet of paper. It really makes it real. So maybe pause this and take time to do that. If you're driving, do it later. But now that you're an adult and you have the privilege of making your own decisions, what do you want to do with your life? You get to choose. You get to decide. Whatever your heart desires. It doesn't matter what your parents or others think. You can switch jobs. You can switch careers. You can do whatever, basically. You don't have an obligation to others' expectations of you. In fact, it doesn't matter. Even if some decisions up until this point have been due to what others wanted for you, you have the privilege, you get to change at any time. You get to change this. You get to start figuring out your life right now. Living for you is the currency of your dreams. When clients begin to work with me, I have them map out their vision longer term and then shorter term. So many of them find it daunting and difficult. Like a vision we create for ourselves, it's not the norm. Crazy, right? That other people are creating these visions for us to the point where we don't even know. Societies, cultures, organized religion, other factors, they dictate our sense of what's acceptable or normal. However, we can empower ourselves to question things. We can decide what we believe to be right. For example, Disney fairy tales are unrealistic and create unhealthy expectations for young girls to find their prince. We all know that that's not realistic, and it sets up people to have unrealistic expectations of their future romantic relationships. Furthermore, major TV shows show narcissistic jerks transform without therapy, without effort, without coaching, and they end up becoming completely different people. This also is ridiculously unrealistic and actually toxic. And yet, this is what is shoved in our faces as normal. So I challenge you to really question what we've been programmed to believe as normal. I challenge you to also think about how much of your life is lived for you, how much of it is lived for other people, what they would think about your life, even though they don't walk in your shoes day to day. Think about what you want out of life. What kind of a person do you want to be? What would your life look like if you made decisions with self-love instead of putting yourself last? What will be important on your deathbed? People bring this up a lot, but it does create instant perspective. Though careers are important, I'm guessing that most dying folks are thinking about the trips they took, or the impact they made, or the precious time that they spent with loved ones. Take a moment to reflect on what your priorities are. Or, what would they be without your parents' input? What would your priorities be if you had been raised by another family? Start stretching your brain to think about what you, the purest form of you, before you learn to put everyone else above yourself, before you were programmed for certain things that maybe you don't agree with now as an adult, what the child in you would have dreamt of. What kind of a career, what kind of a life did she envision for herself before someone told her she couldn't dream and she couldn't achieve it? Start writing it down and take note of it. Don't forget to have gratitude for the dreams that you did make true so far, because I know you did. And then you get to create new ones, all of your own, the ones that you want, regardless of others. If you have a dream you would like to share, but are afraid of being judged, let me know. You can find me on Instagram, Prianca Naik, MD Coaching. Shoot me a DM about your dreams. I promise I'll support you. I will, though, caution you to be careful regarding who you share these dreams with otherwise. Beware of naysayers and Debbie Downers. They'll suck the wind right out of your dreams. Dream big and hold those dreams tight. And don't forget what I said about dreams, that living for you is the currency of your dreams. As you begin to see your dreams and this vision, you can begin to create it in real life. The dream's just for you and no one else. That's the life that will be in alignment with the real you, not the you on paper or the you that you've been trying to be. Let's get started on making those dreams a reality. If you want to move past mental exhaustion and burnout, book a call with me, Prianca Naik, mdcoaching.as.me. I have 4 one-on-one private coaching spots opening up in December. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Empowering Working Moms podcast, Real Talk with Dr. Prianca Naik. If you are ready to get unstuck and out of survival mode to live your best life, I want to invite you to book a free 30-minute consultation call with me. To get started, visit PriancaNaikMDCoaching.as.me. Link in the show notes.